What we done started. Look at what we done started. This the people party.
Peace and love, party people, and the place to be is Talib Kweli, the BKMC. This is the People's Party. It's the world's best podcast. We are live in Austin, Texas right now. We are still at South by Southwest. Give it up for my lovely and talented and live in the flesh co-host Jasmin Leigh in the place to be. Yeah, man. And we are live on Luminary right now. You can check us out on the Luminary app or go to luminarypodcast.com. You can find The Midnight Miracle and myself, Yasin Bey, and Dave Chappelle, also on Luminary. But right now, we are into the People's Party. Jasmine, how you feeling?
I just want to shout out Easy Studios for hosting us here today and all of our beautiful audience members. What up for y'all good vibes? Thank you.
Yes, we
Shout
appreciate all of y'all here in Austin, Texas, and I'm glad that we can come live and do the show. Our guest today, we're going to get right into it because this guest has a lot to say. Our guest today is not just a rapper. He is a record executive. He is an amazing fixture of the Texas hip-hop scene and the global hip-hop scene. He's given us 11 albums, maybe even more. I don't even know if 11 captures all of it. At least 26 mixtapes. There's Losing Composure. There's Same Thing, Different Day. There's Restless. There's Exhale. This man is the founder of Angels by Nature, a charity aimed at helping impoverished youth in Texas. He is the intersection of conscious rap, of reality rap, a hometown hero for Houston, Texas. The Houston Chronicle called him a hero with a grill, writing, no matter the need, whether a natural disaster or food drive, this man is the man to call. This is a hell of a cosign from your city paper. We are talking about the vice president. He was once the vice president of T.I.'s Grand Hustle Records, a man who represents himself well in business and in rap. Shout out to G-Mob. Not just a name, a sentence, a story in 3 words. Trey the Truth is in the place to be. Give it up.
What up?
How you feeling, Trey?
Man, that was a long intro.
Hey, man, we try to give people their flowers here, bro.
It's
yes,
all
indeed.
good.
Now, this is your daughter, Truth?
Yeah, this is King Truth and Baby Truth.
How you doing, Truth? You having a good day?
You know, she controls the room wherever she goes, so
absolutely.
Don't be surprised in the middle of the interview if she start talking, singing, or rapping, doing whatever she feels. So
okay.
Right now she cool because I just had to get her icy and she chilling.
You have a son named Houston, right?
Yeah, he actually a couple streets over.
Okay.
Yeah.
So family in town now.
Yeah. They be thugging.
Now, this is the first time we've had such a young person on our show.
Oh?
And
we made history today, baby.
We made history.
Mm-hmm.
And you said that you have an album coming out next Sunday, right?
This Sunday.
Sunday.
I feel like in the mind state of music, right? I make dope music. You know, I just put out True Season.
Mm-hmm.
And True Season is a collective of me going to different states, grabbing all the street cats and the people who buzz and then just trying to do their thing and put them on my platform. The first edition was done with all Michigan artists, you know, them all my little bros. But in the midst of that, you know, I had still been dealing with custody going back and forth. And it's been over 4 months since I had seen my daughter and anything. So this is actually the first week of me actually having. I went to court about a week ago and the judge was like, man, if it's an order in place, there's no way this man shouldn't be seeing this child. So they ended up letting me. I left court, flew straight to LA that day, got her. And in the midst of that, I was just going through a whole bunch of stuff to where I know me. So, you know, I would stay put up so I don't get into nothing, anything. Because, you know, when you have that type of hurt and anger built up, you got to be responsible. Because the first person to say something, I may lash out, you know. So I did what I did best. I just went in there and bent it in the studio. And it's probably like maybe 9 songs just called Life and Pain, you know what I'm saying? And it's life and pain or it's life in pain, however they want to look at it. But the thing is, man, it's so many people, even watching my story with me going through this and other situations, it's a lot more people that's dealing with real life situations than it is super happy and having the best life on earth as Instagram may display it to the world.
That's right.
So I think it's probably something that was much needed because you got a lot of people that be in situations that I've been in or even maybe worse, but they don't have the platform, they don't have the voice, they don't have the money, they don't even have the drive or the push to speak up or let it out or to get people to understand it. So when you have somebody like myself that show I'm the same as you and this is what I'm going through and you can listen to it and be like, man, I'm going through the same thing. It just resonates more. So it's nothing that I'm doing crazy when I'm doing crazy promotion, any of that. It's just, I'm going to put it out, man. Good thing is I make substance music, so you can hear songs that can be 10 years old and it'll be just as new to you. So
That's right.
I'm going to put it out and people need it right now.
That's right. I appreciate it because I went through the similar situations. And, you know, when you have a child with somebody, for better or for worse, no matter how you feel about that person, you essentially, y'all family for life because y'all got this connection with this child. And it could be difficult. And I appreciate you sharing that and showing an example of what Black fatherhood means.
Yep.
Because we get tagged with saying that Black men are not in our children's lives. But when you look at the data and the stats, Black men are in our children's lives a lot more than other demographics of people. And so it's good. I'm glad that we could present that on the show through you and
you
your
know,
daughter.
it's hard. So it's multiple ways, right? Because just if we got to be real, you do have a lot of cats that's trifling that
We know that
don't
all
do
too
it.
well.
And
Yeah,
you
we
know,
do.
it's like we taking the slack for it. And you know what I'm saying? And we taking the backlash for things that they do. You know, because even with what I do in the community, man, I'm a big homie, a big brother, and a father to almost half the city easily. You know what I'm saying? Stepping up for what others don't step up. But the only bad part about that, which they should be held accountable, but the bad part about it is you shouldn't make us take that backlash or take accountability for they mess ups when we simply trying to do right by ours. Because I know, I can't speak for you, but I would think just as long as we've been knowing each other and knowing each other's character, our thing is, why would we let somebody else raise our own child if we can be there for them? I need to be there to protect her and my boys before I wait and depend on somebody else, you know what I'm saying? And I know what these kids go through. Like, I'm a street cat. I'm out there all the time.
Yes, indeed.
Half the time, they get into stuff because they don't even have nobody to talk to. They feel like it's just them against the world.
That's exactly right. Now, you and I, we've known each other for a long time, like you just mentioned. I don't feel like we've worked together enough. We are on this song together with Chris Webby and Be Real and Graph, Dopamine. I really enjoy that song.
Yeah.
But you have so many posse cuts. You like a one-man Wu-Tang Clan.
You know, me and 2 Chainz used to talk about that, right? And he used to tell people, like, because at one point, you know, he was doing the most features.
Yeah.
But he'll tell people any day, probably one of the only people that
got
gonna
me.
do that easily
Yeah.
is Trae. And I've done it with everybody. It's probably only a handful I haven't done music with.
I feel you make records with so many rappers on them. I'll be feeling like my verse coming next. I'll be listening. I'll be like, did I rap on this song? Like,
Hilarious.
it's mad rappers.
So I love Houston. Some of my best friends from Houston, and you guys have just a different sound. You came up in the Houston's hip hop scene. What do you think Houston's current position in hip hop is?
I think Houston's always gonna be dope. I mean, we always been, if you look at the history, we always been influential in any type way, whether it may be slang, whether it may be how we carry ourselves, whether it may be certain hustle tactics, just in general. So the generation that's on right now is they've created their own lane, and you hear others across the world doing the same thing. So I mean, one thing about us, we definitely heavy when it comes to influence, just not even just in music, just in the game and period. You know what I'm saying?
What was it like when you started to now? Like, how do you think it has evolved?
I don't know. It's kind of a hard question because I think everything just evolves on a regular. I don't think it's just from then to now. I think each generation or each new era and some of our lives, we evolve in different ways. So I think everybody just evolving in numerous ways. But one thing for sure, it's a lot of talent there. It was a lot of talent then, and now it's just, it's a lot of younger talent that's able to. She actually recorded her first song the other day.
Congratulations.
My son Houston on BET every week, so it's all different talent, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot. And even with not the kids, when you have those from the 20s to the 30s, they hitting marks and achieving things that a lot of people haven't been able to. So I salute them too.
Yes, indeed. I was listening to you on the Mike Tyson hotboxing.
Shout out to my bro.
Shout out to Mike Tyson,
Yeah.
Brooklyn's own. You said so many jewels and gems, but you told a story about you speaking to a cat or getting in his ear a street dude, and how he was like, man, if I didn't have this conversation with you, I was on my way to rob a bank or
I'll
something
never
like that.
forget that. We was in Greenspoint. I remember it vividly. It's good and bad, right? When things happen, they call me before they call in the city, before they call in the mayor, before they call in help. When I say bad, it's just a lot of pressure. If I feel like I'm not able to help, that weigh down on me. You know what I'm saying? But in these situations, like they get frustrated. Even if you reach out, say if you reach out to somebody for help, only for you to know that they're gonna tell you it ain't nothing we can do, or they're gonna make you jump through 15 hurdles only to tell you no. But they knew they was gonna tell you no from the jump, but still made you go through that. It makes you feel like I don't like. At this point, it's just me against the world. I don't need to ask for help. So when you have people like me and my team, Relief Gang, the Angel by Nature, and all that, when we pull up, they know we coming to help. They know we ain't coming to be judgmental. They know we ain't even making you. I don't care for you to fill out. That's one thing other politicians and other people, as far as organizations that help people, they get frustrated because they like, he coming here like a rebel and unorthodox, and he just do this when it's ways it's supposed to be done. But it's like, man, for what? I don't need to sit up with you a week straight planning what we finna do, and I could have been doing that right now and moved on to the next.
Right.
I don't need to fill out paperwork. At the end of the day, I'm looking at them. If I physically feel they need help, I'll do all that later. You know?
You're dealing with food, clothing, shelter. And you're dealing with needs on the ground. A lot of activism, it can very quickly become academic and get very corporate and get very bureaucratic. Whereas you dealing with what the true heart of activism is what do the people need right now? And where can they get it from, and who got it, and how can we get it to the people quickly? And there's a lot of conscious. I'm in the activist community. I'm in the conscious quote unquote hip hop community. There's a lot of conscious rappers who are not doing any work. And somebody like you, I know enough about your music to know. I look at you as a conscious artist, but I say more a reality artist.
Bless you.
You know what I'm saying? Because you do songs about the club, you do songs about partying and having a good time and tricking out your ride and all that. But you also do a lot of songs about
the reality is
reality.
That's my pulse. That's my heartbeat.
That's exactly right.
For me, it works because I'm relatable. I am them. Like I tell people, right, with a lot of youngins in the streets, I was them, you know what I'm saying? Which I'm still in the streets now because I feel like I'm always gonna have my hands in that, you know what I'm saying? Because rather than watch a lot of little homies crash out, I'm gonna give them the real. But with that being said, you have a lot of people in these situations, instead of talking to them or listening, they talk down to them, trying to tell them what they feel and how they should do that. But the thing is, if you take 2 minutes to hear what they saying, let them say what they say, then you say what you say, y'all can figure out a happy medium that makes sense.
That's right.
And I think that's what makes it more understanding with a lot of the younger cats and just the people in general, because you have so many people that think they way is the way. Again, like I just said, technically, I need you to fill out this information. I need to know what you do, how they do this. And it's like, I'm not doing it. That's just me. I'm not doing it. You know what I'm saying? So I think people tend to lean more towards our way of doing it, because at that point, you're not even looking to be, here, let me see. You're not even looking to feel bad, because I done been in a situation where I go out and you have people that, I watch people mistreat people, and that pisses me off, and it make me go off. That's why I do my own thing and don't really partner with a lot of people, because it's like, if you coming over here with me, you're not finna mistreat nobody. We ain't doing none of that. You're gonna have to have some type of patience, because you never know how much over that edge you may push that person. That might be their last actual step.
That might be the breaking point. You're right.
Yeah, you can't, man. I just don't do the rules, man. I don't do none of that.
Word up. Now, when you say you come from the streets, in the streets, like a lot of people just say that, but for you it's real. You have a brother who's doing double life sentences. That's correct.
I got a brother doing double life sentences. Had 2 sisters murdered. The mother of my niece. Actually, the other one who raised me, who was my brother's girl, while he was locked up. I had another brother murdered. I've been through a lot of. They actually doing a book on me right now. I've been through a lot of situations, and a lot of people, they don't know how heavy. If you're from Houston, but I'm known across the world now. It's not just Houston no more, so they don't really know, you know what I'm saying? And now which I think they get it and understand, because you got to realize I'm 41 now. It's no way you can have a track record with no flaws in it if you're not authentic. You know what I'm saying? I'm probably, if not I'm one of the most respected people. Yeah. Oh, look at you.
There it goes.
There it goes.
You waiting on it to come out.
You can tell everyone's appearing up here.
Yeah. But that speaks volumes, you know what I'm saying? And I think they understand it now. Which even on the politician side now they know like the only way the people even gonna pay attention or listen to us is if we going out there with Trae and them, you know what I'm saying?
Right. You flipped it on them.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't like that. You flipped it on them.
Yeah.
I want to talk about music because their foundation is the music.
Yeah.
As far as why
so you know it's
people
crazy when I be doing these interviews, I have so much real life going on, we barely even get to the music.
That's right. I've noticed that. Losing Composure is I feel like, and you correct me if I'm wrong, the first project that really put you on the map in the hearts of the people. Is that true?
First solo album, yeah.
Solo album, right?
First solo album.
You got Bun on it, Paul Walker, Millionaire on it, Yuck Mouth on it. The intro starts with this amazing piano part. And like Jazz said, there's something different about Houston music, but I feel like the musicality of it and the production is different. So what do you think that comes from?
So Jeezy and Ross tell a lot of people, they always told people, musically, ear-wise, you're not going to find many that have the ear I have, because you got to realize even at times when that's why Restless was so much of a powerful album. It's like people felt I was ahead of my time, music and sonically, you know what I'm saying? Because then wasn't nobody thinking of doing musical intros.
You did a
dramatic,
bunch of albums in a row, right?
Yeah, dramatic where you picturing like a whole movie coming through. Like even when I would do my trailers and stuff for stuff, like just my thought process. If you go look at my videos, a lot of my videos always look like movies as opposed to me just standing up trying to rap. So I've always just been ahead of the time on that.
Yeah, yes indeed. Wanna See Me Gone is on that. And that references High Tech's Round and Round, High Tech and Jonell.
Yeah.
Really don't know what it's saying before. Round and around we go.
I didn't even remember that song.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm saying I do so many. I'm saying I do so much music.
You got a lot of music.
Yeah, I have to, when I hear it, I'll be like, oh man, I did that.
Yeah, but that connects us because High Tech is my producer who I came in the game with.
Yeah, and High Tech is, see, that's the thing, man. People understand musically, I'll be in another world. High Tech was always dope from stuff he was doing back from the game and all kind of stuff. Yeah, like a lot of people don't really, even to this day, right? Every Thursday at midnight, I go look at all the new featured and all the charts, and I just buy music.
In.
Yeah, so even if it may take me a month from now to get to listen to it, I buy it.
Buy it.
Huh? I don't got it on me right now. Y'all don't mind her. She gonna talk in the middle.
Oh
of
no, she's welcome. She's welcome.
The only
like
thing
you said,
that
she run the room.
Yeah.
The only thing that it's just giving me is just making me miss my daughter. That's the only. She's just. I love that. I love seeing Black fathers, you know, being there for their children, and I love the fact that you took the time to fight for your child too, because there's a lot of people that just are like, oh well, she's not letting me see him. Oh well, let me just go on about my business, and that's not what it should be.
So let me say this part. They shouldn't give up. Sometimes they push you to where you have no other option. You know what I'm saying? Me, I'm just one of the people. I'm not, you got to literally beat me to a pulp and make me tap out for me not to fight for mine. But sometimes it becomes,
Overbearing. Man,
overwhelming, real frustrating. And I didn't understand it back then, but now walking it, you can understand, man, people can really push you away to where you be like, all right, well, look, you really don't want me to be involved that much? I'm going to just get out your way. And in one sense, they're wrong because they should fight harder. But in another sense, you got to remember everybody not us, so everybody's not going to fight like that.
And men are not judged by that in society. To the degree men can do that, a woman walk away from a kid.
We look bad for being a baby mama.
And they look crazy. A man can still be rewarded, have a career, you know what I'm saying? So I think I think you're absolutely right about what you're saying.
Yeah, and I just see it, man, because I just look. So many people like, man, because one thing I don't like when people tell me, oh, it's always like this, but you know, man, continue doing you. Years down the line, it's going to work out. Like, a week is enough for me. I went 4 months and lost my brain, so I can't go no year, 2 years for you telling me it's going to get better later. Yeah. Like, nah, it's not even it ain't even an option for me.
That's right.
That's because you're a real one.
That's right.
So we're in 2006. We're in 2006. Restless drops on Rap A Lot. The title track
Shout out
is
Jay, that's my pops.
yes, dedicated to you is dope. Can you talk to us about Jay Prince and the impact of Rap A Lot?
So me and Jay had ties streetwise before the music, like my older brother. You know what I'm saying? Him and Jay was close, and Jay just, he watched a lot of different stuff I was doing, and then at the time, Jay was dealing with people that was around in the same circle, so I was always around. And I think what happened was I was in negotiation. Everybody was fighting to sign me, which it would have been good, but I wouldn't really be able to have as much freedom. And I mean, he stepped up. He actually, what they offered, he made sure he offered that and greater. And I still was able to do my own thing. So technically, like if you look at me, I was one of the artists that wasn't necessarily signed. It was G-Mob Entertainment / Rap A Lot. You see what I'm saying? So
partnership.
Yeah, so he've always felt like that about me as far as like just I'm naturally a leader and my own boss. So that's how we came about with that. And we just always kept it solid, you know what I'm saying? Even to this day. The crazy thing, the Truth season that I just put out a month ago was because of him. We were sitting up in the car just listening to music. I got over like 2,000 unreleased records. And he always, we'll be on the phone, or if I pull up on him, he'll be like, man, you never let this music go. You just write. Because I make music to listen for myself.
Yeah.
He like, man, it's not doing nothing sitting in your phone. You
That's
gotta
right.
let it out. And I tell him, I'll be like, man, I hear you. And people know my mindset is my mindset. So I'll be like, I hear you, but I listen at the same time,
I mean, but you release so much music. It's not like you're not releasing music.
So that's the crazy thing. All the music I have, if I really took the time to release, I'd probably be releasing 4 times the amount of music that's been out. Me releasing how I'm releasing is me being lazy, like, all right, cool, I'm gonna throw something out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Which you gotta think, you're saying that's a lot of music. So imagine how much music I really have. Yeah, like I had a series called The Truth, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't gonna put no music out then. I remember me and J. Cole probably. We sit on the phone. Yeah, that's my little brother.
Oh man, I love him.
And it's so crazy. A lot of people, my relationships, it's never about music. It's about our personal lives. And we've been knowing each other since young. And he just, I was at a point, man, I ain't, I'm banned from radio. It's been 12 years. I'm not able to go get a situation, a deal, so I'm not throwing the music out there to get lost. And he was just like, but bro, if you put out an album and 10 people get it that didn't get it, it doesn't matter how many.
Especially if you didn't care, right?
Yeah, like it'll grow. It'll grow and it take time. And I debated and was like, no, that's not the way I think. And we do that all the time. And I ended up doing it, and sure enough, everybody was like, man, about time you should have just been putting something out. So
yeah, the first Truth was with Grand Hustle, right?
Yeah, so everything I did at Grand Hustle, I put out through Empire. Because even with Tip, it was the same thing. It was me / them. Yeah, I've never really physically signed to anybody. So. But yeah, all the Truth series came out with Empire and Grand Hustle.
That Truth album is the first album that I got from you, because I wasn't hip to the earlier stuff. That's the first album that I really tapped into your style. And I went back and listened after that, but that was like, 2014 or 15 around that time?
I don't even know, bro.
Yeah, I was like, that shit was crazy. On Restless, on Swang is so important to the Houston sound.
R.I.P. H.A.W.K. Let me see that.
Yes.
Bless you.
R.I.P. Fat
R.I.P.
Pat.
Fat Pat,
Pimp C.
H.A.W.K. Man, now that I think about it, everybody who was on that song passed away.
That's right.
Wow.
I'm the only one still here, man.
That's right.
That's crazy.
It is crazy, and you
but
keep
I
it
never
spirit
forget.
alive.
I never forget. I was with Mike Dean. Mike Dean ended up. I believe Mike Dean ended up remaking it, because at the time Michael Jackson was alive, so everything was cool, right? We finally got to a point in time I had to write letters, emails. So Michael Jackson, actually, we got to a point where he was okay with me using it.
That's crazy.
But he wasn't the writer. Rod Temperton was the writer. He didn't care how much money you offered. He didn't care. He didn't want his music remade. So on one hand, you got Michael Jackson giving me the permission. another hand, you have him saying no.
Wow.
So at this time, now the record's starting to lose its legs because everybody know we going back and forth trying to get it. And I was with Mike Dean. We finally got it, man. It was over hundreds of submissions, but it didn't get that feel. And I'll never forget, I had let Hawk hear it because we had performed Sunday night at Connections. That Monday, I was with Mike Dean. Hawk heard it. Everybody like, yeah, that's it. And I was at Mike Dean's house mixing and mastering a record. And that's when I got the call that he just got killed. And I ended up flying to the scene. You know what I'm saying? I actually stayed. I was one of the last people to leave. Me and 3-2, may he rest in peace. We stayed out there and we actually even cleaned the blood up. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was that was a whole crazy situation, man. But it's a lot with Swang. But now it's to the point when I perform it, I don't even perform out of respect. I don't perform my verses. I only do Hawk verse because I say that every time I perform, I'm going to keep him in the mix of anything I got going
and
on.
it's a cycle because he keeping Fat Pat alive in his verse. It's like everybody keeping each other spirit alive.
Right, yeah. So every time, and that's still one of the most powerful songs to ever come out of Houston, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
What can you tell us about the Houston car culture and how that relates to the rap scene?
Always. I mean, you know, the candy paint. Of course, where we from, you have swangers, which are the long wheels that stick out. And it's so crazy. Juneteenth for Father's Day, I'm doing, me and DJ Envy doing a car show, Texas versus New York.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
So I'm making sure all the Texas culture come out. As far as he making sure he bring out, you know, in New York, y'all had the old BMWs and stuff, but
the old
I don't know if
hustler
New York
cars.
going to be able to hold
I mean,
up
but
to
it's a region, it's a vibe. Yeah, Houston, though, the car culture in Houston is...
Yeah, it's different. And then you got, you know, even with the generation now and the younger generation, they love foreigns more than they do some of the others. So we have all different types of car culture, you know what I'm saying? But that parking lot pimping used to be, so we used to have a place called Cornbreads. When Screw was living, Big Mo, everybody. We actually wouldn't go there till around 1 or 2 in the morning, and we'd stay out there till 6 or 7 in the morning every day. That's just, you wouldn't go inside the place. Everybody just sit at their cars.
The let out, but no club.
Yeah, just, you got people just drinking, smoking, having music. You know, that's where you go to find your chicks. It's just a whole vibe. But back then, it was a lot more, you know, it was a lot more player. Every once in a while, if it's an issue, you know, we're going to get out there, we're going to fight. You know, nowadays, it's a little more different, so it ain't able to do it like that. Because, you know, a lot of people these days be scared to fight. They're scared to get punched on, anything. First thing they do is grab their tool, you know what I'm saying?
That's kind of like the college experience because we used to go to the Moon in Tallahassee, and whether or not you got into the Moon, you better be at that parking lot.
It was just like a tailgate. That's exactly what it was. It was
That's the culture.
A hood tailgate.
Yeah, that's where the culture is at.
Yeah, go ahead and say something there. Okay.
She's so beautiful.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the influence of UGK and Bun B. How many songs you got with Bun?
I'm not sure how many songs I got with Bun, man. And
it's got to be like 100.
Honestly, I don't even think it's that many. That's why I'm going to tell you, again, based on relationships, it's never really about music with us. You know, Bun do a lot of stuff with me in the community. Me and Bun deal with a lot of stuff, you know, even down to the situation with my daughter. You know, him and Queenie been heavily supportive, and we always been close. It's never really been about the music, you know what I'm saying? But we have records, but I ain't gonna say hundreds of them. We got records though.
I'm exaggerating a little bit, but I mean, I've heard y'all together at least 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, I say at least that. Anywhere, probably maybe close to 10, 12 maybe.
Right.
But the thing is, in Houston, you know, you either you're gonna reach out to Jay, you're gonna come reach out to me, you reach out to Bun. It's always been that, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Even though I'm a younger version of both of them, it's still the mutual respect. So we always been tied in because Jay and Bun is just as close too, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, indeed. So, and when you hear Biggie on that record, I don't remember what song it is, when he's like, no, not from Houston, but I rap a lot. For us in New York, you know, Ghetto Boy is notwithstanding, Rap a Lot was really all we knew.
Yeah, because you gotta, it's no way you can know about the South even before you knew about the No Limits and the Cash Money, it was Rap-A-Lot. There's no way you can go around that. You know what I'm saying? And Jay definitely made the culture for the South what it is. You know what I'm saying? Which is, for me, it's a blessing because, you know, I call them, everybody knows us either as bros or they know it as that's pops.
Oh, right.
When it come to me, you know, I probably one of the first person to ever even call him that. But for me, it's just like even to come up under him and be as close and similar to him. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a younger version because a lot of people don't understand. It was, even with him, the music was part, but the stuff you see me do in the community, he was doing that the whole while there too. You know what I'm saying? And he would take care of the community, take care of his people, which the same was me. Any of my people be in need, I'm the person that they coming to, you know? And we just always had that trait. And I think that's how we end up being blessed the way that we are.
I agree.
Because, you know, if you do good by people and you have that heart, it always work out.
It just surely
Yes,
does.
indeed.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Life Goes On album. Lil Duval is all over there. I want to know your connection to him, and I also want for you to walk through doing What That Mouth Do, which is, it just sounds like Florida shit to me because, excuse my language, but...
So that's why, remember I tell you I'm ahead of time? Think if you go back to that, people didn't even really know as much about who Lil Duval was.
They
back
didn't.
then.
And even
Smile
on the
wasn't out.
Truth album, I want you to answer the question, but on the Truth album, he's on that doing the intro on that, and he's not being funny. He being a little funny at the end, but I'm like, okay, this is who this dude really is. Who Duval is with Trey is who he really is.
Yeah. Cause so even, you know, man, my niece Lyric, rest in peace. You know, he stood up in that situation a lot. It's like, and we brothers, so you know, we have our times where I may be pissed at him or whatever it may be, but we always close. And it would be situations where, you know, Duval he pushed me more to try and be happy in life and trying to accept life for what it is. You know what I'm saying? So his thought process definitely is way different. Now, do he have a mouth on him? Always. I'm probably one of the only people he know. I tell him, I get on his ass in a second, like, bro, you ain't got no filter, chill. Because he'll just say what comes to mind.
Right.
So Duval used to damn near live in Houston. He would be there every weekend with me. You know, I had a club called Club ABN. And I'm talking about it was every gang member, every hood. It was, you had to be a stand-up person to be inside there. And he would be there every weekend, you know what I'm saying? We actually got a DVD that we never even put out. It just only floated through the streets, like
street DVDs.
Yeah. So he's always been there, man. And it was ahead of the time. People didn't really know. So now it's crazy. If you go back to look at it and listen to it, you'd be like, whoa, that's who that is.
Right.
Because on me and Mozzie put a tape called Tapped In. Ha Davis was on there.
Yeah.
People didn't know then, you know what I'm saying? It's like I watch all my people evolve and get to a point to where they're massive now. And when you go back to listen to that, you'll be like, oh, that's crazy. I didn't even know that's who that was. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how I just always just been ahead of the curve. Like the I'm On series.
Yeah.
You had Kendrick and J. Cole on the same song. Yeah.
And that was part 2 of that song. That wasn't even original of that song.
So it's like, Part 4 ain't out yet. Now, Part 4 is, I've been sitting on Part 4 for almost 2 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, maybe a year and a half, let's say.
Part 2 had Mark Morrison on it, too. That was...
Mark Morrison been on all of them.
And he was in part 1, too. Okay. I thought, because that's what I thought. I didn't really hear his voice as much on that. I thought he heard it, and it was like, let me be a part of that. But he was involved from the beginning.
Do you always find yourself surrounded by comedians?
Believe it or not, people feel like when I'm to myself, I'm naturally just as funny. But yeah, a lot of them are my brothers. Dave
Last time I
Chappelle's
saw
my
you
brother.
was in Yellow Springs.
Yeah, I was with Dave a week ago. I flew from New York to go to court that Wednesday to get her. So yeah, I was with Dave then.
Did you see his film that he's been showing?
Nah, not yet.
You in it?
For real?
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy. He came to Houston for Trey. They just popped up. He like, man, I do a comedy show, and he like, man, I'm coming. You ain't got to tell nobody I'm coming. And he was going to come out like, man, cool. Right. Even if you come out for a couple minutes, that'd be a blessing, man. That man stayed up there an hour and something just doing him.
Just riffing.
He doesn't know how to do a few minutes.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, and when he was doing it on stage, he was telling, he like, man, I got a project and I got a movie, and Trey, you involved in it.
Yes, yeah,
and
you are.
So hearing them say that was one thing, but I haven't physically seen it.
Trey the Truth brought Breonna Taylor's mother to Yellow Springs.
Oh, okay.
I brought her sister and Kenny on stage last night. They here now. Yeah,
and Dave put that part in the movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We talked about your activism. We talk about Angels by Nature. You have been forward thinking and really involved in the streets, not with Breonna Taylor and many other things. What drew you? Were very early in Breonna Taylor. Correct me if I'm wrong. You moved to Kentucky. You was working with my son until Freedom and them.
So I got an event going on right now called the Bump Box Experience. My son and Tamika sitting there. I left them to come to you.
Okay, tell them I said what's up.
Oh, they couldn't come with you. Obviously, they were at the event.
I didn't even think. I'll make sure and try. Yeah, because they here. But
they both did this show. That's
but I'm
family.
saying we always all are together. And you know, me and George Floyd came up. Like
that's
if you
right,
go look at
right.
stuff I did in the community, you would see videos with him coming out with me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So the history of it is always been there. I think the reason why I'm so head first with it is I know the feeling like nobody cares and you on your own. And I think they families be really needing it at that time because they lost their member, and they know within a week to two after everybody get done riding the wave, everybody gonna go back to their normal life. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like me myself, like nah, we ain't gonna. You got to again. You got to make me tap out of any situation. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like nah, we gonna fight to the end for this. The situation is like even now, right? Even after they didn't convict them, the fight's not over, man.
No,
you don't tap out, like, because that's not a situation where I feel that situation with Breonna was openly. They charged the man. I'll never forget. I was in Kentucky. They charged him with the bullet that went upstairs to somebody else's place.
Yeah.
But you didn't charge him for the bullets that went in Breonna, went through her house, and harmed anybody else. Like, that's blatant disrespect. You know what I'm saying? So that's a different type of frustration. You know, even they wouldn't arrest the cops. We showed up to Daniel Cameron's house. Instantly, that man make sure all them get high-end felonies. He tried everything he could.
You talking about when y'all got arrested? Yeah,
we got arrested
was
a couple
out there.
times. Yeah, so
my son Tamika, all of them, right?
Yeah, so my thing is, you went out your way to get us felonies behind us just showing up to your house to tell you got to do the right thing, but you didn't even hold the people accountable that did what they did, and you know this is wrong. Like, you made Breonna mama drive all the way up there, and they asked you, hey, if you know it's nothing you're gonna do, just let us know, so you don't even say, like, so you don't even put us through that trauma.
Yep.
That man still asked them to come up there only to tell them that. Like, and the thing is, what I learned being there, he wants that position, so he got to politic a certain way.
Right.
So before he make them mad at him, he's gonna go against any and everything with us. You see what I'm saying?
Well, all skin folk ain't kinfolk is what they say.
Yeah.
And I just want to take the time out to thank you for being such a stand-up dude. And, you know, we need people like you. And I personally appreciate you representing our community in such a wonderful way. And I think we should give it up for Trey for that, too. I feel like you have a lot of Tupac in you.
Man, you know, people say that a lot. And it's not even just the music. The passion.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The music is there. You have the song, you did Against All Odds, you got a Pac verse on that.
Yeah, may his mother rest in peace. I'm probably the only one of his generation that his mother actually allowed me to have a song with Pac, with me being at a young age.
Yeah.
And it was actually on Life Goes On.
That's right.
Actually, I got two of them. I don't even know. I don't even think we ever released the other one. I actually had two songs with Pac.
You might have to do that, bro.
Yeah, I literally had to go back to find all that. Yeah, we had a song called The Truth.
The Truth.
Just like you.
Just like her. You got a song, same album. This album, so Truth was I like that, but when I went back to Life Goes On, that came before The Truth, right?
Yeah.
When I went back to that, I'm like, yo, you was ahead of your time with that. And you got Kiss, you had a great relationship with Jada Kiss. Yeah. You got Kiss and Styles on Smile. Pac and Scarface may Smile. Jay-Z's done a version of Smile, but
you know what's so crazy? The album Sunday is the 2022 version of Smile. I'm gonna give you the album. I'm gonna give it to you earlier when we leave.
It's all full circle. It's all full circle.
Yeah.
But
that's what introduced New York to me the most.
That album or that song?
That song.
That song.
Because you know that was back when you had the Big Mics, the Who Kids mixtapes. I was one of the only artists from Texas that was on all of them tapes. You know what I'm saying? Because I really can rap and hold my own. So Smile is what introduced a lot of the homies locked up in Rikers. A lot of homies was coming home was like, man, like we rock with this kid. You know what I'm saying? So Smile introduced the East Coast to me real heavy with that. Because I think originally it was me and I think it was me and Styles first. Then we added Jada, or was it me and Jada and I added Styles?
I got a project with Styles called The Seven.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite projects.
So Styles a real good dude. Shout out Pharmacy for Life. You know, we help a lot of people. Like I get behind that with him. Believe it or not, I got a lot of East Coast ties. Like right now, you know, I got an album sitting up with Dave East.
Okay.
I got an album sitting up with Conway.
Oh wow.
So crazy. One of the people I was closest with was Cool Herc.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like he was
Herc's
literally. Yeah.
Herc's a homie. That's a good
And I
dude.
used to always, you know, I would always come through for Herc because, you know, I feel like he had a lot of built up frustration, you know, with people overlooking him. And I used to always talk to him like, you know, like sometimes it ain't even worth that energy. We just got to figure out what we can do from here. So, you know, I'll pop up, I'll go see him and do different stuff, man. But if you in his life like that, real good cat, you know what I'm saying? But I see where he can get frustrated at times because he's that person when you come to speak of hip hop only to, and I don't believe people are supposed to always have to give credit, but it's just like at least, you know, have some type of respect or embrace it.
Yeah. And hip hop is making a lot of money for a lot of people. Right. And him, Herc, and all of them, they say none of that.
And he literally not seeing nothing of it.
In 2008, Trae Day becomes a thing, and the mayor of Houston recognized your contributions. It's now 2022, and you're huge. What do you have planned for this year?
So now I got 2 Trae Days in Houston. You know, I got 4 holidays in Houston so far, 2 keys to the city, and I got my own Trae Day in Milwaukee too. Which COVID happened, so I wasn't able to really kick in Milwaukee how I do in Houston, which I end up having to miss Trae Days because of COVID too. But I just posted something yesterday. It shows I got recognized for doing a whole bunch of stuff by the mayor in the year 2000. So it's been over 22 years of me doing this. So for a person to be like, oh, well, you know, he just started. That's cool. So it's like, nah, it's really been over 22 years.
It's real on the ground.
Yeah, like that's
direct action.
For me, that means something. You know, just thinking back because I didn't even realize it because I do so much stuff.
And it's natural for you too.
I get, you know what? I get the most people walking up to me. Man, you did this for me. You don't remember you did this such in Miami? I'll be like, no, and then they tell me a situation. I'll be like, I damn sure did do that.
That's awesome.
But that's a good thing because you do so much you don't remember none of the stuff you do.
Now, with Trae Day, I feel like that whole situation, as great as it is, it was hard in that first couple of years because it was marred by tragedy. And it was, you know, people got shot at the event.
So let's clarify that.
Okay.
Event was over.
Okay.
Everybody was back at the hotel. You know how you said parking lot pimping, when everything over, you still have people still chilling? That's how that situation happened. But I get what you're saying.
But yeah, so you go on the radio and you're having this conversation with the radio personalities and y'all get into an argument and you get blamed and other artists get blamed for the violence.
Actually, they didn't even blame the other artists. They blamed me and the community. They said, your type people, meaning people from the hood in general. And it's like, you can't bash them. And speaking of Bun called in. Bun was like, man, y'all wrong. I was there. I believe it was, I just found the video. It's so crazy on the same stage. This show you how far history is. Me, Shorty Low, Bun B, Rocco, Duval, Rick Ross, Gunplay. Like, man, it was so many of us on there. Like, we was all young at the time, you know, before any of us blew up. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, for you to do that and we were able to do the things that we did for the community, for you to bash that was, I felt like it wasn't right. And I feel like if I didn't speak up, I wouldn't be myself. Like, I'm one of them people, I'm gonna speak up, even if it seems like I'm going against the world. Because I gotta look in that mirror every day. And if I really feel like, man, you fraud, bro, you know you should have said something. I just chose not to do that, and I spoke up.
And you face consequences for that.
I'm banned to this day.
To this day from the radio.
My son Houston was born 3 days before I got banned. So Houston is 12 now. That's how long I've been gone.
It wasn't just the radio, though. People, promoters, show promoters, artists who work with the radio station, people was shutting you out, right?
So a lot of people thought out the beginning that he's just not getting played in Houston on the radio. No, I was banned worldwide. Even to when you spoke of me being a VP with Tip, Tip would tell you we would go places on tour and I wouldn't even be allowed on the property if it had anything to do with Radio 1. I would either have to stay on the bus or I had to stay at the hotel. When we would do Grand Hustle projects and it's time for records to get promoted, imagine the feeling of you always having to get took off the records.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And one thing I commend Tip did his part because when he came to me about coming to Grand Hustle, he was like, I don't know how it's going to go. I can't promise no results, but at the end of the day, win, lose, or draw, I'm going to be side by side with you.
Yeah.
That's what made me, because at the time, I was real close with Ross. I was real close with Wiz and them at the time. I was close with a lot of people, and I didn't know what my situation was going to be. But that's what ended up making me go to Grand Hustle. You know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't about money. It wasn't about any of that. His whole thing was, at the end of the day, it's messed up what's happening to you. And just as a brother, win, lose, or draw, we gonna go out fighting.
I love that a couple of the DJs stood with you, and some of them even lost their positions at the radio station. Right?
One of them passed away too. Yeah, 4 of them. 4 of them got fired in Houston. Yeah, we can get some more ice cream in a minute, okay?
What you just said about the Radio 1 thing is crazy because when I first started my career in Raucous, the Wiz in Cincinnati, he's like, you got to take the program director out to dinner. That's how you get your record played. I was like, that's how it go? He's like, some other things too, but
business.
You got to take her out to dinner. I was like, it wasn't anything that was unpleasant, but I felt icky doing it.
It was
that early in my career. Like I felt like
think about being a woman.
Shit.
I think I'm gonna be honest, in this situation, right, with mine personally, I can't speak for yours, it was more of a control. It was more of a, you need to just bow down. And I'm not built that way. Especially if I ain't do nothing wrong, I cannot fake. I don't understand that. You know what I'm saying? I think what happened, they felt like they was gonna make an example out of me because they feel like Trey's outspoken. If he speaks now, the next person gonna feel that they can do the same thing, and that's not okay. But the difference was, I'm not one of the ones you can silence like that. Now I can be honest with y'all, the first 2 years was pure hell because you can't, as a promoter, if you do any music with me, they'll never let you advertise with them again.
Wow.
So promoters backing away. Any companies endorsed. They were going, any labels. You have some artists that's established, but if you have artists that's not established, guess what? They not going to get played because you're aligning yourself. So it alienated me to where I would come in a room and everybody would leave. They would leave for 2 reasons. 1, they didn't want to piss the radio off, and 2, they would leave because they didn't know how I'm finna react or if I'm finna trip out because I know everybody left me to be on my own. So at that point, if you notice throughout them years, it was always just me on my own.
Yeah.
And the hardest part was weaving the first few years, right? After you do that, and I got to a point where because I went to court to fight him, first thing people say, oh man, you can't do that because that's gonna kill you. It's over for you. And man, I don't care about none of that because when I go home at night, if something happened to my kids or they in need or if they starving, I still have to figure out a way to make it work for them. And everybody else going home comfortable. So I'll be damned if I don't stand up and fight for what's right,
Right.
That's right.
And they felt like it shouldn't have happened, and I stayed there. And I always stay loyal to God. That's just me.
Yes, indeed.
And I feel like after the first few years, and once I finally was going through the lawsuit, because keep in mind, lawsuit people had stone cold facts, but they did not want to come forth because it can backfire on them. And after that, it was just like slowly but surely he started showing me like whatever he had planned for me was so much more bigger. Now you got to think, if you take it fast forward to right now, you're not gonna find nothing bigger than me though.
That's right.
Not on the you're not
right. The people
streetwise,
chose you.
the politician, the community is no way around me when you speak of Houston, Texas. You see what I'm saying? It's to the point, I'm probably one of the only people that's respected from all walks of life, meaning even if I come in the building and officers in the building, they gonna take their moment to salute me like that's the big homie. Even people who way older than me, man. Like I earned that title and I worked hard, and I think people appreciate and value it because they know I do stand for something. You can't always get the trust of the people, and when you do have it, you never jeopardize that for no amount of money. You never jeopardize that or use it for the wrong ways.
More powerful.
You stand and you do what needs to be done as a real leader. As a real leader, when it's time for war, I'm prepared for it. But do I just go send everybody in the war just because I can? Like, nah. It has to make sense. You know what
leadership.
I'm saying?
You and your friends, Dinky and Papa C, were shot at a Houston club. You guys are innocent bystanders. Dinky and Papa C passed, and you were left bleeding in a hospital. Could you?
With the situation that happened, it was actually 3 people got killed, and another one got paralyzed, and I was the only one that went to the hospital normal. And it was so crazy. The hospital kicked me out the hospital.
Bleeding still.
Yeah. So, and my son Houston, I'll never forget. I was at home cleaning the wound and all that, and he was right there. When I walked in the house, he just sensed something was wrong. He started crying, but even in the midst of him crying, he still was always up.
How old is he?
Houston, man, he was young. So my kids, they didn't seen a lot, you know what I'm saying? Because Houston was there when my brother Clip got killed. He actually came to the hospital. But yeah, so what happened is 3 people got murdered, another paralyzed, and I ended up getting shot. Which again, that had to be God, because I got shot in my back directly behind my heart, right? So when I got shot, my shoulder blade shattered. So it spent the bullet. Instead of bullet going straight all the way through, it spent it into my shoulder. I think with that being said, yeah, it was a lot of shots came into an innocent crowd. So that's what happened.
Did you ever sue the hospital?
No. Because it was like, I would have to backtrack and really go through all that to figure it out. And I don't know. I just kind of let it go. And it was so crazy. It was a picture release, right? I'll never forget this. I'm in the hospital. Worker spook, because it's over 100-something niggas outside. They've never seen nothing like that ever in life. So a worker came. He like, man, I hate to be that guy. I don't know if I ever get to see you again. Can you please
sign your?
No, take a picture. So I'm looking at him, I'm like, bro, you for real right now? But the heart that I do have is like, man, even in the midst of that, like,
you still trade the truth.
Yeah, I ain't even gonna shit on you like that. So if you ever look up the picture of me in the hospital bed with a worker, that was exactly what happened at that moment.
So speaking of going viral, you said that the first time you really understood going viral was when your nephew Nico, right?
He's right around the corner too.
All right, I have an artist.
Nico is Clip's son. My brother got killed.
Rest in peace to Clip.
Yeah.
Man. That you did that I Am King album. That was dedicated to Clip, right? It's a great album. Rest in peace to Clip.
And his birthday is Sunday. That's the reason I'm putting this tape out.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Keep his spirit alive.
Well, March is just a hellified month because from Clip to my niece Lyric to Nipsey, I had a lot of stuff happening during March. But yeah, so the same way how I healed myself leaving the hospital, the bullet's still sitting in there, but it's so far on the edge. Like if I was to do this, you would feel the bullet. And I remember 2 days straight, I would wake up and my shirt would have blood splats. And it was like, it's real tender till I think the second or third day, it was, a piece of it was,
you can see it. Like
it was out. So I called him down. I'm like, man, I'm finna try and get this out. First he's like, ugh. But then he's like, no, bro, I'm finna record it. You gonna go viral. I'm like, bro, look, get this damn camera and get it out my face. I don't care nothing about that. But I'm finna get this bullet out. And I did it. And he like, man, so when I did it, which I always thank God. If you look at that bullet, when bullets hit you, most of the time they turn into fragments, they
Mhm,
flat,
they're all
not
over you.
anything. I still got the bullet. The bullet was fully intact. It just didn't have the back on it. So it was literally like, if they put the back on it, you can use that bullet again type stuff. You know
That
what I'm
wasn't no
saying?
small hole either.
Yeah, nah, I think
That
I
was
got
some
hit with
Grey's
a 40.
Anatomy type
Yeah.
video. It was like, oh.
So after I pushed the bullet out, I ain't do nothing but get peroxide and some gauze and stuff it in there and clean it, and it went back to normal. You couldn't even tell. It's right here. You couldn't even tell nothing there. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Boy,
crazy.
that's a black man for you. What, like, I
Mike
got
Tyson
some
called you the
gauze.
Terminator.
Yeah.
When Mike Tyson called you the Terminator, you know
Yeah,
that's
man.
some shit. Man, well, shit.
You know, so funny, I said in one of my songs on the new album, because Jeezy would tell people, like, man, I watched Trey turn from the supervillain to the superhero. And in one of
That's
the lines, I
bars.
said, I transformed. Optimus Prime used to be Megatron. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
I went from the dark guy to the guy that damn near everybody loved.
That's right.
Now, to go into what you said about me and Pac being similar, you know, a lot of people only would think lyrically. They don't really understand us as a person. The reason Pac was loved the way he was loved, don't get it twisted, the music was dope. He was loved the way he was loved because he was passionate and he really, you, what he stood for, you knew. And he was going to be rebellious about it to the end. And I think that's what's happening. And also, he was vulnerable. That's the one thing I haven't jumped to yet, but the more that I start to let people in on my life, like
The more they
with
love
my
you.
daughter and other things, they grab me more now. You know what I'm saying? So that's the only piece, slowly but surely, I'm letting out, because I'm just real personal, period. You know what I'm saying? But
think,
that's the only difference of us. He was way more vulnerable.
Yeah, he took some bullets too. And he was
Yeah.
there for the community too.
Yeah, a lot.
You I think at XL you coming closer to that.
So coming to XL was the turning point to where I started letting people in on my life.
Yeah, I can
Now
hear
this
it.
life and pain, you're gonna hear probably a lot of what you wouldn't usually be able to hear.
No doubt.
But I just had to let it out, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And that's why it is what it is. Definitely.
Doing Me, Lil Bibby and Nipsey. You worked close with Nipsey. You
Yes.
spent a lot of time with Nipsey. And you
My
donated
brother.
proceeds of that song to his family, right?
Yeah, I had that set up for y'all know who coming to run the show right now, right?
Yes, indeed. You got ice cream, light colored.
So yeah, definitely. And I've always been close with Nipsey, man. It was so, I got a card at my house, right? My mom ended up bringing to me. And I haven't showed nobody this, which I may just take a picture of it for my book. It was a card from Nipsey. And it was when we was younger, and he told me I went from being one of his rap superstars to one of his biggest street icons. I may have it in my phone. Let me see if I see it. And you know, I'm always gonna do my part, period, because a lot of people don't understand. If you look at the beginnings of Trey Day, he was there. So a lot of stuff he would tell me, like, man, I'm gonna go do the exact same thing for my community. You know what I'm saying? And it just, we just had a real strong
Connection.
Yeah, that, like, again, and it had nothing to do with music. All my relationships are real relationships, so it had nothing to do with music. But no, that was my heart, you know, like,
Yeah.
that was a different situation, you know what I'm saying? Like, that situation made me shut down all over again. Oh, I'm looking at it now. Yeah. I don't even want to let people see it because that's something that means it, but I just want you to read it. You ain't got to read it out loud.
Yes, indeed. That's beautiful.
And you see what it was signed by. Well, it was signed by him.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Word up.
But
And then we have Little True eating the Nipsey Blue Icy.
man, it's so crazy. One of the last few DMs me and Nipsey had was her wearing a Crenshaw onesie. He talking about, hey.
Right.
But yeah, we got real history, man.
No doubt.
And you said you just recorded a song for her. Are you going to do like a whole album, or you just a song on your tape?
It's random as can be. I don't, like, she loves, because I rap and sing.
Yeah.
Now, my boys and them, they rap. Which Houston, he did my dad both. She loves to sing. And when y'all go back and play his interview, you probably wasn't paying attention. She was sitting in my lap singing.
I heard her.
So she does this all the time. I can play something and she can instantly just put her own look, like she just loved to sing. So I was in the studio the other night and I put on the beat and I start playing around and
she got busy.
Yeah. So stuff like that, it puts you in a mind state to where you be proud. That's a proud father moment, man. But
I still got my daughter's first songs on tape.
I have my daughter recorded a song.
Wow. I'll let y'all. So as she gonna hear me do that a couple times, then you gonna watch her go to.
That's you. That's you.
Then she start freestyling at the end, so I'm gonna come down. Like, what is
I'm gonna come down. This is vibe. Y'all songwriting together.
Yeah.
Good job.
Good job.
See,
thank you for sharing that with us.
Nah. It'd be so.
Oh man, that's making just reminded me of when my daughter was that age. You represent Houston so well, bro. I saw what Hurricane Harvey did to Houston. I came down a couple weeks after the hurricane. You started a relief gang around that. I saw you.
Me and my bro Rogers.
Yeah, man. I saw you rescue Jonathan Simmons. Saw you in the news.
That was crazy.
With the boat.
Yeah, that was crazy. And I actually kept that secret until he actually said something about it.
Wow. No clout chasing over here.
Yeah, nah. Solid dude. Simmons, my brother.
Yes, indeed. Now, going back to what I was saying about you dealing with food, clothes, and shelters all the time, you have said that floods and natural disasters bring people together. Mm-hmm. I agree with you, but can you break that down further?
The difference in Houston in general is we naturally, even amongst what we may have going on personally, right? Mm-hmm. We naturally take care of each other. Mm-hmm. So I think it's human nature, man. When you see certain things happen, unless you heartless, it's no way to really overlook that. Mm-hmm. And when things like that happen, I watch all walks of life come together to try and do whatever they can to make it work. And that's what I meant as far as the flood. Because when it's time for that, even though you have some people that gonna continue going about their day and not worry about it, that's fine. Majority, they scrambling to do whatever they can.
Yeah.
And to go with what you said, even as far as leadership, right? So if you go back to look at that time frame, you go to look at everything that I was doing, pay attention from that date to now, how many people across the world, anything happened, people breaking their neck to do that right now. Mm-hmm. You got to remember at that point in time, it wasn't cool to do that. You know,
that's why
that
I made
wasn't
news.
Yeah. So it's like
it made international news.
Yeah, so you have people like, they would overlook stuff like that. And now, when you have people like us who can go against the grain and do what we feel comfortable, it makes other people feel comfortable. Because now, for me, it was a two-way street, right? Because people be like, oh, they doing it, but it ain't genuine. And my mindset is, it matters not if they genuine. They're touching somebody that I wasn't able to make it to at that point in time. Mm-hmm. So since I wasn't able to make it to him at that time, for me, it's a win-win because somebody's still getting helped in the process.
Yeah.
So even if they doing it in a competition way, let me show everybody I could do more, I do this.
Right.
Still the same thing for me because now I've not necessarily finessed you, but I've put you in the position now. It matters not because everybody's still getting helped in the process.
You're focused on the goal. You're not focused on the politics, the clout, who gets the credit. You focus on getting the people what they need.
When it comes to Relief Gang, when we show what's going on in the community, we one of the only people that they don't look at as why are they showing it. Mm-hmm. They actually look to us as the hood and community news of what's going on in the world because it's a lot of people that don't know some of this stuff be going on. You had people in Houston that probably didn't even know we didn't post that one side of town had water hide in the street light.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So without being able to physically see that or get the knowledge of knowing that, you be continuing your day not knowing.
Yeah,
Right.
and it's important to note that Relief Gang didn't just stop there. Y'all went to Louisiana, Mississippi, Puerto Rico.
I did Carolinas, Floridas, everything.
In the pandemic, you're giving out masks and clothes to homeless people. So
right now,
salute you.
I'm already strategizing on how I can continue to help the immigrants out there in Ukraine. So I'm always thinking of different stuff. That's
Yes,
what we do.
indeed. Well, salute for that.
What's up with Bump Box? They're opening Bump Box stores now. What's your involvement?
Yeah, I'm one of the owners, so it's 5 owners. I'm one of them. We have a Bump Box experience 2 streets over. You know, we do a lot also in the community. So for me, it's good because even though me being anything I'm tied into, we have to be able to give back. And you have to be prepared to stand for what's right, because even in the midst of when I was fighting for Breonna and George, you had a lot of companies that shied away. Some stepped up, some shied away. And for me, it means a lot because my partner, Rob, he's actually white, you know what I'm saying? The one who actually created the Bump Box itself. And everything I do, he's 10 toes down supporter, you know what I'm saying? Even if I would have to, you good? Even if I have to be in Kentucky and had nowhere to stay, he'd probably be the first one to go make sure I'm situated or send money to do whatever. And it's been times in Houston things would happen. They would come fly down and be hands-on. So for me, it means a lot because he understands and he gets it. I see, it's okay, baby. He gets it. It's cold, though. He gets it, and I think that's another reason why we get our blessings, man. When we started Bump Box, we was valued at $80,000. At that moment, you couldn't tell us nothing. We still felt like this our company we valued at $80,000. That's a lot for us.
Right.
Now we valued at $100 million. And I tell people that, right? It came up talking about he only has her around to get camera props or sell records. I'd never have to rap again in my life. I rap because I want to rap.
That's right.
I'll never have to. With Bump Box alone, I probably can stay in my room for the rest of my life because it's on cruise control now.
Right.
It's
You
beautiful.
turn on Super Bowl, you see them walking out with Bump Boxes. We have deals with, we the ones responsible. We did Biggie Box,
Yep.
Aaliyah.
Yeah, she got the
DMX.
the old school pager on.
So people don't know that we own the rights to pages. You know what I'm saying? So headphones. I got license deal, UFC, NFL, all the college teams, soccer teams, baseball. Just did Coca-Cola, in the process with Barbie right now. So a lot of this stuff, actually Barbie and Batman. So a lot of this stuff we in Walmart now. Walmart alone, just say you have a couple Bump Boxes in every Walmart across the world.
Right.
That can, you got to realize, so I argue with somebody at the beginning, right? Not even argue, I like to debate a lot if I don't agree. And my bro here, he had the worldwide, the Chopper shirts in Walmart. I was like, man, but if I put in Walmart, is it going to water us down? You know how people think. And you're like, man, if $1 billion going to water you down, then yeah, it
Right.
probably will. and as I start thinking about it, I'm like, that actually made sense. He made $1 billion off shirts in Walmart alone.
Wow.
And honestly, it's kids more that have disdain towards Walmart and not the adults who are buying the clothes.
Look, with this show, we deal with a lot of politics and stuff, and Walmart absolutely has some shady politics, and Walmart comes from, old rich white money and all that. But we living in this country, what we not gonna live in America?
Right.
If you're doing business, you're doing business.
Yeah, and I think, well, I can say, I don't know the history on Walmart, but they've embraced us. It's okay, baby. They embraced us they let us do our thing. You know what I'm saying? And anybody I stand or align myself with, I'm prepared to stand. And if any situation comes up, and as well as if me and Talib may be in a situation and I'm aligned, I'm prepared to go to war with him. But if he wrong, I'm also going to be the one that's going to tell him, like, nah, bro, you tripping right now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You're doing retail business, and this is one of the biggest retail businesses in the world. Like, you got, if I can't play this game by these rules?
The stores are a good thing for us because it makes money. And then for us, it's to come from where I come from.
Rick and Morty.
For us to have
Not
corporate
Rick and
chain stores across the world is dope.
It's beautiful. This
But
Bump Box story is really
it's done so much
inspirational.
on its own online. Even if it was no stores, it would still be
Right.
A-OK, you know what I'm saying? But I love the fact that I can go to different cities and even though they franchising it under us, we still part owners of
That's
that.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
This has been awesome.
Yes, this has been
Yeah, because
wonderful.
I didn't know. I thought it was supposed to be a shortly. It seemed like I've been in this bitch for 2 hours now.
I don't know if we hit
about
2 hours, but we got. I think we got.
How long we hit? Huh?
This is the definitive
Listen,
Trader
we
Truth
was-
interview.
you don't.
I had a good time.
Time is hard.
Yeah.
What am I trying to say? When you're having a good time, you don't know
flies.
about time.
Time flies.
Time flies.
Time flies when you're having
When
fun.
you're having, I might need some champagne
You
for
just
this
really
next
just
one.
broke down the whole idiom.
Time flies when you're having fun. And finally, what is next for H-Town's favorite son?
Life and Pain is Sunday. About to go, of course, South by Southwest crazy. If they don't know, I'm the Texas ambassador of South by
That's
Southwest,
right.
so I'll be all over moving there. Still in the process of dealing with courts, trying to do whatever need to be done so I can make sure I'm in my child's life. Got some big things. I don't wanna speak it yet, but just know it's gonna be some stuff that's
On
gonna
the
shock
horizon.
the world. Yeah, it's there, but it's like, man, I don't really believe in jinxing, but it's like, man, I just need to wait. But just know I'm always doing something historical. So there's a couple things under the belt that's going
Well, the
to make a
People's
lot of
Party.
people happy. Huh?
The People's Party is proud to have Trader Truth. Thank you for coming through. And Truth.
And Lil
Young
Truth.
Truth.
And let it be known, I did that based on our relationship because when I tell you they have to call me,
Yes.
I don't really do interviews that much.
Yes.
You'll see me on the Breakfast Club here and there and a couple others because they have relationships with me, but I don't care to do
Trust me,
interviews.
brother.
I just keep doing me.
We understand.
So when they
We love you
told
for
me,
it.
I'm talking about they was calling. Shout out Barbara because she was calling me every day. I'm like, look, man, I'm gonna figure it out when I get there.
Right.
Talib, the bro, I'm gonna be. I figure it out. And she stayed on me, but I'm actually glad I came and did it. So yeah.
I'm glad you did. Thank you, Barbara.
Yeah.
Thank you, Barbara. We love and appreciate you. Give it up for Trader Truth.
And Baby Truth.
And Baby
Truth.
Truth.
Yeah.